Namo Buddhaya. Welcome to yet another episode in Inner Guide Q&A program. Now I need to ask a question from you. When was the last time you had a sound sleep and after you wake up, you felt so good? I think most of the time we don't get a good sleep, and that is why we are feeling tired after a good sleep even. So today we're going to talk about how to wake up in the morning without feeling tired. Now remember, the quality of your wake up is highly dependent on how you sleep, the quality of your sleep. So first of all, let's talk about how to have a better sleep. Our great teacher, Supreme Buddha, taught us that if you can practice the love and the kindness throughout your life, in your heart, practically, you will sleep better. Right? So it says that it is so important to maintain a kind and a calm and a peaceful heart to have a better sleep. So your sleep is highly affected by several things. It depends on what you do during the day, and it depends on how you approach the bed, your sleeping posture, and also it depends on what you do after you wake up. So we are going to talk about these things. So let's talk about how the things happen during the day affects our sleep. Now, if you spend most of the time in the day by being angry with people, by being jealous of others, by fighting with others and being sad and frustrated, then your mentality is not in a good condition. And then when you go to the bed, you will never have a peaceful sleep because your mind and your body is not ready for that. And it hasn't become peaceful. So it is so important to maintain a peaceful and a calm mind during the day, right? Of course, we cannot control the situations that we face during the day. We cannot control people complaining us, criticizing us, bullying us. We cannot control these things, but we can control our response to them, right? So we, by our own self, make the choice to be angry, to be jealous, to be frustrated, to blame. So what you have to do, you need to maintain and you need to try as much as possible to be kind and to be friendly with people, right? To help others, to do the good things, which makes you happy within. So if you can maintain a peaceful heart and peaceful mind during the day, even in the middle of the adversities and the problems, then no one can control and no one can destroy your peacefulness. So when you approach the bed and when you go to the sleep, you're going with a kind and a peaceful heart. So your sleep quality will be increased. And also the sleep is highly dependent on how you approach the bed, right? So in brief, I must say, approach the bed with a clean body and a clean mind, right? So how we approach the bed with a clean body? Refresh your body before you are going to sleep. Don't go to sleep with dust-filled bodies and sweat-filled bodies, right? You can have a little bit of a shower. If it was a cold shower, it is much better. But if you cannot have a cold shower, if you are not in a condition of having a cold shower, then have a lukewarm shower, right? Then you go to the bed. And when you go to the bed, it is much more important to clean your mind. So how to do that? And that's where the meditation comes in, right? You can bring in a meditation before you sleep. So it is so easy to practice a session or 5-minute session of loving kindness meditation, right? You can spread the love and kindness towards yourself first, and you can spread the same love and kindness to your family members, to your neighbors, to your people around your village, maybe the people in your town, and you can spread the love and kindness to the whole world. When you spread the thoughts and when you generate these thoughts within your mind gets so peaceful and it will become so serene. So bring in a loving kindness meditation before you sleep, right? And then you can go to the sleep with a clean body and a clean mind. And also, the quality of your sleep is highly dependent on your sleeping posture, right? Most of the people, they sleep on their stomach. They sleep facing down. But that is not a good posture to sleep. Our great teacher, Supreme Buddha, slept, and he had his sleep on the right side, to the right side. You can sleep to the right side, and that posture is called Singhasaya, the lion's posture, which was used by our great teacher Supreme Buddha throughout his whole life. So if you can try that posture, that is one of the best postures to sleep. And also you can sleep to the left side, right? So these postures will increase your quality of the sleep, right? So these things affects your sleep in many ways, and it makes a huge impact. And then let's talk about what we should do after we wake up. Now, I need to share with you some tips which you can practice soon after you wake up, right? So first of all, do not do this. Do not hit the snooze button. Now, many of you hit the snooze button and you go back to the sleep. Remember, when you hit the snooze button and when you go to the sleep again, that sleep is not a perfect sleep, right? And that is why you are feeling tired after you wake up. So what you have to do, don't hit the snooze button. Wake up and get down from the bed soon after you wake up, right? So you can keep your alarm clock, maybe your mobile phone, you can set the alarm and you can keep that thing across your room in a distance where you should walk to the alarm clock and stop it. So it will help you to get down from the bed. So that is one tip. And the next one is drink some water soon after you wake up. You can keep a glass of water near your alarm clock. Then you can stop the alarm and have a drink of water, right? And then it's better to have a little bit of a shower in the morning. If it is a cold shower, it is much better. But if you cannot have a cold shower, then go for a lukewarm shower and you will feel so refreshed in the morning. And after that, do some exercises, have some stretches on your body, then you're good to go, right? So these things, if you can do these things soon after you wake up, it will keep up the refreshness that you feel in the morning throughout the day. So that is how we have a peaceful wake up early in the morning and feel refreshed. So I hope you enjoy this video. And I wish you all, may all of you be well and happy, and may all of you live long, and may all of you realize the Four Noble Truths in this Gautam Buddha's dispensation. Namo Buddhaya, Theruvan Saranai. Namo Buddhaya. Today, I'm going to share with you a wonderful and meaningful Dhammapada verse. So what is Dhammapada? Dhammapada is a set of verses that was preached by our great teacher, Supreme Buddha. Now, Supreme Buddha used so many ways to preach Dhamma to people. So, one of those ways was he used the verses, right? He preached Dhamma in verses. And also there is another way, which we call the discourses, or we call them suttas or sutras, right? So there are so many ways that Supreme Buddha used to preach and elaborate the Dhamma to people, right? So Dhammapada is a set of verses that was preached by Supreme Buddha, and it contains 423 verses. So today I'm going to share with you one of those verses. This verse explains about, Supreme Buddha explains about the mind, right? This verse says, Dunni gahassa lahuno, yatta kamani patino, chittassa damato sadhu, chittang dantang sukhavahang. So what is the meaning of that verse? Dunni gahassa lahuno. It is very difficult to control your mind, to take control over your mind. Yatta kamani patino. It moves swiftly and it lands wherever it feels the desire. Chittassa dhammato sadhu. But it is very good to discipline our mind. It is very good to tame our mind. Why? Chittang dantang sukhavahang. When we tame our mind, when we take control over our thoughts and emotions, then we can have the happiness in our life, right? So people in this society think that they need the freedom to express whatever comes to their mind. Now some people may say like that. They need that freedom. But if you are going to express everything that comes to your mind, right, you will end up as a terrible person, right? So if you express your anger every time when it comes to your mind, what will happen? No one will like you, right? If you express each and every bad thought that comes up to your mind, you will become a bad or an evil person. So that is why Supreme Buddha said, you need to take control over your thoughts. Why? Chittang dantang sukhavahang. When we control our thoughts, only we can have the happiness in our life, right? So it is very good to discipline our mind. Now, making our mind disciplined and taking control over our thoughts and emotions is very hard, right? So for an example, whenever you get up early in the morning, right, when you wake up, is it easy to get up from the bed? No, your mind says to stay on the bed for another 5 minutes. That is what our mind says. But if we listen to our mind, right, if the mind took control over our life, what will happen? We will stay on the bed forever, right? We will stay on the bed for another 5 minutes, and that 5 minutes will be another 1 hour. So that is how it's going on. So you should not listen and you should not do and speak to every emotion that comes up in your mind, right? You need to have the mental discipline, right? Remember, every successful person who ever lived in this world had the ability to take control over their emotions and not to let the evil emotions and thoughts to take control of their life. They had that discipline. Because of that discipline, they became the great people, right? So if you have the mental discipline, if you need to be great, if you need to be successful in your life, you need to have the mental discipline. So how do we get the mental discipline? It is very simple. All these things are based on practices. The practice is the secret for the mental discipline. So what are the practices that we can do and have in our life to have the mental discipline? The first and the foremost practice that we can practice or do in our life to have the mental discipline is the meditation, right? If you can meditate for at least 5 minutes a day, it will be a great help to take control over your thoughts, right? You can do loving kindness meditation. If you practice the quality of loving kindness, that means you are controlling your thoughts of anger. So if you practice breathing meditation, you can take control over the distracting thoughts that are popping up in your mind. So the best way to take control over our thoughts and have the mental discipline is doing meditation. So practice the meditation at least for 5 minutes a day, right? If it is more than that, that is much better. But at least you can practice 5 minutes meditation per day, and then little by little you can gain the mental discipline, right? So most of the meditators, right, the successful meditators have this mental discipline. So the key to the mental discipline is the meditation, right? And you have to have the idea inside your mind that I must not let every thought that is popping up inside my mind to out, right? So if you are being angry all the time, then you need to make a decision to your life that I'm not going to express my anger hereafter, right? Remember, expressing anger is not something strong. It is not something great. It is a weakness, right? Only weak people express their anger. So you need to take control of your anger because it hurts you more than others. So if you love yourself, you should not be angry. So practice this mental discipline and know that it is very hard to discipline your mind, but through practice, through meditations, and through developing good qualities, you can have the mental discipline in your life. So I wish you all, may all of you have the great opportunity to discipline your mind and find the ultimate happiness in your lives. Namo Buddhaya, Thiruvon Saranai. Namo Buddhaya. Welcome to yet another episode in Buddhist meditation series. Now in today's video, we're going to be discussing about a special quality that we all need to practice and develop as a meditator. Now this quality is one of the most fundamental qualities that a meditator should possess. And that quality is the patience. Supreme Buddha said, Kanti paramang tapotitikha. Patience is the highest virtue. Now, the nature of our mind is, the nature of undisciplined mind is, it is impatient, right? It needs everything instantly. Isn't that true? Now, we all get used to this instantness. We are living in a world that everything comes to our hand instantly. For an example, you have your mobile phone on your hand, on your palm. If you need to look up for something, you just type it and instantly it will pop up, right? So many things like technology, they are becoming instant day by day, right? And also there are so many things which comes instantly. We have instant noodles, we have instant rice, you have instant articles. So we have got used to this instant world. The more we get used to this instantness, we are losing our patience. We are losing our ability to just wait. Now, for an example, if you take your mobile phone and if you log on to the internet, if the connection is bad, if the connection is low, what is your response? You become panicked. You become impatient. You become frustrated. Why? Because you have get used to that. You have trapped in that illusion. So that is the problem in our mind. So when you get used to this instant world, you need everything in life to be instant. That is the problem. But in life, in the spiritual world, in the spiritual life, and most of the life things inside this is slow. We have to be patient. We have to stay until it happens. For an example, can you force yourself to sleep? You cannot do that, right? You go to bed, but you cannot force yourself to sleep. You should wait until you fall asleep. All right? For another example, when you're doing meditation, you cannot force your mind to be relaxed. When you force your mind, it will become more distracted. So, one of the most important and valuable, so crucial quality that we should possess as meditators is the patience, right? So you need to learn the art of just being without any expectations, without being panicked, without expecting quick results. Just put yourself in the way, in the progress, in the process, right? Now, a lot of us sit for the meditation expecting on the first day, my mind will be so peaceful, so serene, and so tranquilized. It will not happen instantly. It is a life process, right? So it is very slow. It is meandering. So you have to just wait, right? So I need to share a special thing that you should do before doing any kind of meditation, right? So most of the time you sit for the meditation and you close your eyes. Sometimes you sit cross-legged, sometimes you sit on a chair, and some people may do walking meditation. Whatever the meditation is, first of all, if you are closing your eyes, right? Or if you are opening your eyes, it doesn't matter. Just let yourself to be in that posture or in that way for a little time, right? Don't just directly jump to the meditation. Just sit, close your eyes, and just wait and observe what is happening inside, right? Don't rush your mind. Because if we force our mind, sometimes our mind is not ready to do meditation, right? When we use our mind, when it is not ready to do the meditation, when you use that mind to do the meditation, when we force that, it will not work properly. So best thing to do is when you sit down to the meditation, just close your eyes and just be for a while. Just be relaxed, right? Just let all the tiredness, fatigue, and exhaustedness to just flow away. Take a deep breath and exhale out and just be, right? First of all, you need to have that quality. So that is one part of patience, right? Not being panicked, not being so fast. You need to slow down, right? When you're doing meditation. First of all, let yourself to be relaxed. Now, when you first in the beginning, when you become relaxed, your mind is getting ready and it is knowing that now this person is going to meditate. It's like warm-up exercise, right? When you hit the gym, first of all, you don't go just and do the cardios, right? You just warm up and you just give the idea and give the news to your body that now this body is going to work out. Same goes with the meditation. First of all, sit, relax. Just don't do the meditation directly. You can do that when you become pro at meditation, but as a beginner, we all need to practice this, to be patient, to stay. You need to learn the art of being, right? Not art of going. That is why we are called human beings, right? If you are a human being, then you should know how to be, right? So practice to be patient. Practice to be relaxed before doing meditation. If you practice this, you will gain good results through the meditations. Namo Buddhaya, Theruvan Saranai. Namo Buddhaya. Welcome to yet another episode in Inner Guide Q&A program. Now in today's video, we're going to be talking about how to face criticism. Now criticism is something that we all have to face in all of our lives. But many of us don't know how to face it successfully. But our great teacher, Supreme Buddha, taught us how to face these circumstances successfully. So today we are going to learn that. First of all, remember, criticism, bullies, adversities, these are common experiences for all the humans, right? Our great teacher Supreme Buddha taught us, Natti loke anindito. There's no one that has not been criticized by people. Remember, whatever you do, whatever you say, people always criticize you. Because people always see you what they want to see, not the exact you. So, criticism and bullies are common experiences. But when we are going through such experiences, we feel sad. That is called the mental sorrow, mental sadness. Due to this mental sadness, we fail and we fall down either physically also. So, what we should practice and what we should do when someone criticizes us, when someone blames us. There's a discourse that was given by our great Arahant Sariputta. And in that discourse, it says, when someone complains you, when someone bullies you, or when someone blames you, you need to have two things in your heart or in your mind to face it successfully. So what are these two things? Number one, Arahant Sariputta said, you should be truthful. So what is truthfulness? Truthfulness is when someone complains you or when someone complains you about a mistake that has done by yourself, then you have to be truthful. You have to accept your mistake because you have done it, right? If someone asks you that, have you done this mistake? Then if you have done it, really, you have to say yes. But most of the time, when we do mistakes, we try to hide them, right? We try to hide them by telling lies. Remember, when you tell lies, you have to remember everything, every lie that you have said, because you need to protect that lie. But if you said the truth, if you admit your fault, then you don't want to remember anything, right? Remember, mistakes can happen from anyone. We are not perfect creatures, right? We all have defilements, we all have problems, we all have difficulties, we all make mistakes. So, there's nothing to be ashamed of making mistakes. Therefore, what you should do when someone complains you, when someone blames you, or when someone accuses you for a mistake that has done by you, just admit it. Be humble, right? When you admit your fault, you win the trust of people. But if you did not admit your fault, what will happen? They will never trust you, right? So what you have to do, if you have done a mistake, just admit it. Say the truth. I have done it and I'm not going to do it again. I will correct my mistakes. That is what you have to do. So the first thing that you should have in your heart when you face complaints, when you face criticisms, what you have to do, be truthful. And also, if someone complains you for a mistake that you haven't done, let's say you didn't do anything of that mistake, you know nothing about that, but still people will complain you because of the misunderstandings. So in that case, how you should face that? In that case also, you should be truthful. Directly, you can say, I haven't done this mistake. But if they are not going to believe it, or if they are not going to understand it, you don't want to prove them I am correct again and again. Just stay calm and just smile, right? And stay cool. That is what you have to do. So in that case also, you have to be truthful. Number 2, Arahant Sariputta said, you need to practice the love and the kindness and non-hatredness in your mind. You don't want to hate people when they are criticizing you, because sometimes they don't know about our story. Sometimes they don't know about our mind, what are the difficulties of us. Still they complain us. So when someone complains you for a mistake that has done by yourself, that means if you own that mistake, then you don't want to be angry with them, because you have done the mistake. So what you have to do, just simply admit it. When you admit the fault, you are not providing any fuel to his anger, to other people's anger, right? For an example, if a person, right, if the boss of your company came to you, and if he started complaining, if you admit your fault, then it's okay, right? He will blame for some time, but he no longer can take it for a long time. Just have the non-hatredness inside your heart. Just smile to them. And also, if they accuse you for a false accusation, don't hate them back. You need to forgive them, because you haven't done any mistake. The mistake has happened by them, right? So if some people, if anyone has done a mistake to you, then what you have to do? You need to have that ability to forgive them. Remember, when you forgive people, you become free. right? Your heart becomes free. So, you need to forgive people to free your heart because of your peacefulness, not because that others deserve your forgiveness. So what you have to do, forgive people. They don't know our story. They don't know anything about us. So that is how you face the criticisms. So practice the truthfulness and also non-hatredness or the loving kindness when you face the criticisms and bullies in this world. Namo Buddhaya.